Welcome to America's Heroes Group.
Welcome back to America's Heroes Group with our roundtable and our sponsor, partner RHF, that's the Rick Herma Foundation. Today is Saturday, November 4th, 2023. November is Military Family Appreciation, National Family Caregiver, and Alzheimer's Disease Awareness Month. And don't forget, November 11th is Veterans Day. Support our proud veterans. Our host is Kelley. I'm Sean Claiborne, the co-host. Our executive producer is Glenda Smith. Our digital media producer is Ivan Ortega of Scotch Arnold Productions. And we have our partner, once again, a familiar voice and a familiar face on our screen. That's Darren Jeffrey. He's a founding board member of the RHF and also the original course creator builder for the TV show American Ninja Warrior on NBC, among many other TV shows as well. Darren, how you doing?
Doing great, Sean. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Oh, wonderful. It's always great to hear your voice.
Always great to hear yours. Now, tell me, what is up in the news of RHF?
Lots is going on. We had a fabulous year. We're winding down, this year, 2023. We literally served thousands of families out in Fayetteville, North Carolina, that are living around the Fort Liberty, formerly known as Fort Bragg, now Fort Liberty. Our 55-acre campus out there has been bustling. We've had arts and crafts projects. Our tree houses are filled with kids and families running around. The picnic tables are full. I mean, it's just been an amazing year for us.
Wow. One of these days, we got to make a field trip and go down there and broadcast from there, do a show live from the Rick Herma, from Rick's place, so that way we can get an idea and a feel for what's going on there. And also all the fun stuff you guys described and talked about and built so many great memories there as well. Now, how hard was it to build that facility?
Oh, it was amazing. When you look at what we have today and roll the clock back a little over 9 years, and I remember what it was when we started. And what we did is we took every obstacle that was in our way, we turned that into an opportunity. And, initially when we first got the property, it was 21 acres and it was overgrown, and there was an old stable and some old horse corral and some old fencing. And what we did is we created a family work day, and we advertised throughout Fort Bragg and the community that RHF is having a family work day. And families came out there, and we literally were handing out rakes and shovels and cutters and chainsaws and pruners, and folks just spent the day clearing brush with their families.
Wow.
And, the next weekend was a barbecue, and everybody came back, and we kind of celebrated what small progress we had made. So,
that sounds so cool.
Yeah, we just kept doing it, and then the visions that would happen as the foundation grew. RHF is a very unique organization. We really, when Josh is is basically our founder, and when we all got together and we started talking about this, starting a nonprofit, quote, starting a nonprofit. It's my advice to anybody that wants to, quote, start a nonprofit is to maybe not start a nonprofit, maybe go find a nonprofit that's closely aligned with your thinking and help power that. But in Fayetteville, right outside of what was Fort Bragg at the time, now Fort Liberty, there was nothing like this serving active duty families. And, veterans, obviously the veteran community has surrounded us as well, but we had no emphasis on active duty families that would not stigmatize or label people as being wounded or broke. This is we want to create family resiliency. That was the mission. And so immediately,
I got to interrupt you there too, because I hate when people do that to veterans, when they paint this portrayal of veterans being broken and downtrodden. We're all homeless. We're all got PTSD.
No, it's as far from the truth as you can get. I mean, everybody has hard days at work, and if you have enough hard days in a row, obviously it's going to wear on you. And that's a fact. I don't want to minimize that reality, but conversely, we've got active duty families that are really thriving in their positions, and how do we support that and support resiliency within those families while they're active? A lot of times the paradigm in America is that, the veterans are the folks that need support. But, and if you're an active duty family, the paradigm is, the military's got you covered. You're under the umbrella. You're good to go. But the reality is no, there is very little opportunity for active duty families to participate in family style programming that doesn't stigmatize them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was where I was dead wrong as a founding board member. I said, guys, let's not start a nonprofit. Let's go find one to help power. And there just wasn't one. So it became very obvious we had to actually do the startup and get it going from the ground up.
The thing is, you have a very unique background because you came from television, and you built obstacle courses for some reality TV shows that are famous. They're all over the world. How did that experience help you, kind of birth this idea and bring this to fruition and all the way out in Fayetteville, North Carolina?
Right. So, being a quirky, I'm an old rock climber. This whole American Ninja Warrior and all the Ninja Warrior obstacle courses that I designed around the world, this all started from my rock climbing background. I'm an old firefighter with the Forest Service. I was a hot shot with the Forest Service for many years, and I also have a construction background. So when I started my company in 1999, obviously had no idea that any of this was going to evolve the way it did. But, by the time we got pretty famous and popular, and people had found us, I got tapped to become an instructor, to offer some rock climbing classes for our military. And that's essentially how I got to know these folks. But we realized that we had a lot in common, that myself, because I ended up selling my company in 1999 because I've been fighting prostate cancer for about 10 and a half years.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And yeah, that's a discussion in and of itself. How that's been an amazing factor in my life. Knock on wood. But transitioning from my career into kind of a private life that has a lot of remarkable similarities to a lot of the guys and gals that I've met over the years that have also retired from the military and have had to go through a transition era. And so that's where a lot of similarities. So RHF was actually a really nice, place for me to park my talents and my business experience while I was transitioning and dealing with my health.
Now, how did you get connected with Rick Harriman? How did you learn about Rick Harriman, and did you know him?
I did not. I did not meet Rick. I met Josh. Josh was Rick's best friend. Rick passed away in 2006 on a combat mission in Iraq. The stories of that particular mission are, unbelievably amazing stories. And it's not to say that there aren't lots and lots of stories out there. There's so many, amazing soldiers that have, been killed in action over the years. That it's sometimes we're asked, well, why do we want to honor Rick? And what we did with Rick was, Josh basically said Rick is the kind of guy that would want to see something like RHF for everybody in the community nationwide. And so, we just took advantage of the opportunity that, Rick would have wanted this. And, it could have been, honestly, it could have been any number of amazing soldiers that have given their life and paid that ultimate sacrifice. But we had an opportunity to run with Rick and Rick Harriman and his name. His family was behind it. They still are. His sister Kate is one of our board members. His parents, Dick and Mary, they come out to the property. They live in Michigan. They come down to Fayetteville all the time to support what we do down there. So we had a lot of synergy to go, and that's where I was really interested, in being involved. Is that, we could have named this after, anyone, but it was Josh and his vision, him knowing Rick, and his inspiration. So those key elements coming together sequentially created an opportunity that just could not be ignored. Mm-hmm. And the doors just started opening for us.
Wow. I think that's really powerful too, to have someone that you connect with, because you can, pick somebody, you can pick a Medal of Honor recipient or something like that, but having someone that you knew and served with to make something in their honor, I think is really powerful, but also it makes there's more passion about that project. Yeah.
And a nuance is that, Rick passed away in 2006 when he was killed. We didn't start the foundation for several years later. And, so I know Josh was sitting on this vision for years, routine combat deployments year after year after year. Josh is in a very high level of special operations. And so essentially, every time he would deploy or come home and reintegrate, the need was obvious. And it was year after year, deployment after deployment, the need was growing. And that's when Josh and I got together and he said, Darren, I want to share with you a need that's going on in our community for active duty families that need support, but they cannot be labeled wounded or broken. They cannot be stigmatized. And that was just an absolute eye-opener for myself. A lot of the folks that I've introduced to the foundation over the years, some of our board members, a couple of our advisors, they also share the same jaw-dropping, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is a gap. These families should be more supported. What can we do to help? And so private sector from nationwide, we've gotten support, within the local community, but the vast majority of the fiscal and the logistic and the business support that we get comes from a national people that, live in California and Oregon, Idaho, Montana, New York, Florida, nowhere near Fort Liberty. They have a son, they have a daughter, they have a dad, they have a grandpa. They all have somebody that's been through that, that process that is deployed through Fort Bragg, now Fort Liberty. Mm-hmm. It's really amazing to see how interwoven our nation is to that particular base, and then the support that has come from this.
One of the things we do at America's Heroes Group, one part of our core tenets in our mission is to bring a highlight to veteran service organization VSOs across the country to help them thrive and survive through all the difficulties of running a nonprofit. How do you get the message out to get that fundraising and get the word out so that people can donate to your organization?
Well, we've done it very organically. A lot of veteran organizations can go out and raise money, using certain buzzwords and phrases, such as, PTSD or, work stress and whatnot. We do not use any of that phrase, none of that language. We don't go after that, those grants, those types of things. So there's not a whole lot of government support grant-wise that we have found for exactly what we're doing. So this is all private sector. We don't have, and I think that it's something that really should change. I think most of us on the board are kind of rolling our eyes that the government hasn't and done matches or created grants for what we're doing. So we're really just word of mouth, private sector. A lot of folks that have gotten out of the military, that have gone on to start their own businesses, that have become successful, they circle back and they're fiscally supporting us as well.
So if someone wants to donate to RHF, how do they do it?
Sure. So the easiest way is our website is rhfnow.org, and that we've got a wonderful website. You can topography, the property that we have 55 acres, 4 minutes from the front gate of Fort Liberty in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And folks can get on a program where you donate $5 a month. Other folks will put up, larger donations. Some people will jump in and support specific fundraisers like the Ninja Warrior competition or some of our shootouts that we do. And then other groups will come in and they'll put money up and they'll say that the money will be good once it's been matched. So we do get a fun time, announcing that we've got $10,000 available, but it's not available to us until we have a match donor. So that's been a really exciting fundraising tactic for us.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Tell us about the facility. Tell us about what you guys offer. You mentioned things like the shootout. Tell me about all those things. What's on?
Sure. When you find us in Fayetteville, you're driving down a paved road with giant, tall pine trees, shaded. This is a beautiful treed property. You pull in, there's a house. We call it the Harema House, and it's 2 stories. We have a commercial kitchen down the stairs where we do cooking classes, and we have all kinds of potlucks, and that kitchen supports a big part of what we do on the property. But then on the left-hand side, you've got giant tree houses in the trees. You look out across. We started with 21 acres. We're now at 55 acres. The neighboring properties have been donated to us over the years. So we just have enormous amounts of open space. We have mountain biking. We have trails set up where people can hike. We're putting in a lake currently. We're going to be doing fishing out there here soon. It's like a little slice of paradise just right outside the base.
Wow. And you have, of course, the obstacle course, right?
Absolutely. So coming this spring, we have the Ninja Warrior course. This is the only place that you touched on this in the introduction, so for the audience, I am the original course creator for American Ninja Warrior, the television show, and I'm also the original course creator for Ninja Warrior around the world. Partnered with the Japanese, had done that for many years before I sold my interest in the company which I founded. I sold my interest in 2019. And so as a record, the only place that you can touch my work that's not been on television is out at Rick's place. Once a year, we build a Ninja Warrior course. I bring some of my best rigging buddies and friends that I've worked with over the years, and we dig pits in the ground, and we line them with plastic, fill them full of water, and we have all the Ninja Warrior obstacles over water, and we set up a free competition for the families, and they're encouraged to come out and beat themselves up on this obstacle course.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
How hard is it compared to, say a Navy SEALs obstacle course or something like that? How hard is it compared to those things?
Significantly harder.
Wow.
Significantly harder. Yeah, we've got our elite course. We average about a 90% failure rate.
Wow.
On the elite course.
So I just want to try this for because you said that, I got to try it now.
There you go. Right. Yeah, exactly. Just like on the television show, and on TV, the athletes that you see on television, they are training specifically for that television show all year long. So when we see those athletes on TV, when we see them progressing through the course, it's because those are some of the most elite athletes in the world.
Wow.
And I've been on lecture panels for the Olympics. I've been on lecture panels for professional sports. I've been on think tank for human performance groups. How do we make females stronger? How do we make males stronger? How do we improve mental confidence and so on? The Ninja, what you see on television is actually that. It is literally the highest caliber of mental confidence combined with physical agility.
Wow.
Period.
And how do people audition for that? Do they try out? How do they get on the show?
They do try out. So now that the show has been going on for a few years, we have our usual suspects that we always try to bring in. But, essentially there's a sign-up process. You can get on NBC's website. You can Google it. There's an application process. A lot of athletes will send in videos of them performing, little clips on their backstory. And that's, the producers, it's up to them. It's their discretion who they actually, cast for to be a competitor. So for our military families, what's so unique about obstacle courses is that the military is the only profession on earth that uses an obstacle course at work.
Mm-hmm.
Period. The Olympics doesn't have obstacle courses. The NFL doesn't have anything. All of our big human performance groups, nobody's got an emphasis on obstacle courses. The military is the only working class culture that uses an obstacle course at work. So that's where me being the Ninja Warrior guy, quote unquote, and building an obstacle course for the military, to me that was a special opportunity, something that shouldn't be taken lightly.
Mm-hmm. And a perfect marriage between an expert and what, because I loved obstacle courses in the military. That was something that was a fun day for me just to go out and do an obstacle course. I look forward to it. I wish I did it more in the military. Or wish we trained more in the military with the obstacle courses. For my profession, I was a mechanic, so I wasn't in infantry, so I wasn't going to be doing it every day. But,
right.
Yes. But so can anybody? If a person's not in the military, could they enjoy Rick's Place?
You bet. Yeah. So for Ninja Warrior, we do have a civilian, a couple of dates on our website where civilians can jump on. And register. We do charge just a small amount of money if you're a civilian. I think it's $20 or $25 per person. It's a very nominal amount for you to come out and compete. And then obviously that's 100% of that money is passed right over to Rick's Place and to RHF for our operation, et cetera. So if you are a civilian and you do make it out to Rick's Place and you end up on, the Ninja Warrior course out there, thank you. And you are supporting the families that you would be surrounded by when you're out there.
And it's tax deductible, of course, because you're a 501c3.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, everything is. And so when you send us a deduction, our bookkeeping process is absolutely stellar. You'll get a receipt that shows your kind donation, and that is absolutely a tax write-off.
I could see this as being a really cool thing for especially businesses and corporations that want to do these team building type exercises, like Fortune 500 companies, and want to get their C-suite employees to work better together or have some kind of bonding experience or networking experience, to use this as a challenge or as an event, so to speak, where because sometimes people go out and they'll go into conferences and they'll do these little training exercises to build confidence and things like that. This could be such a powerful tool for those guys, and even guys that are on American Ninja Warrior that want to go and practice and do something that's going to be like the real show. Because guys that do parkour, I can see them, running around Chicago or running around the city and doing crazy stuff. But where can you really train on an obstacle course in America other than a place like yours?
It's few and far between, and the real reason is because even though there are Ninja Warrior gyms sprinkled all around America, none of them are over water. They're all over pads. And, I say this tongue in cheek, but it's not a Ninja Warrior course if it's not over water. And that's the bottom line, because the consequence of failure means you're splashing down. Your clothes are going to be soaked. You got to crawl out of a pool in front of all your friends.
And it makes it harder for you to go to the next round.
Gym, exactly. So you go to a ninja gym and you fall off an obstacle, you land on some pads, and, it's inconsequential. There's no consequence. There's no live consequence to your training. So to train on a course over water it's the night and day difference between practicing and the real deal.
Wow. We got about 30 seconds left. What last words you want to tell our audience about Rick Herrema and also or the Rick Herrema Foundation?
Well, I got to tell you, America, thank you so much for supporting our military. Sean wouldn't have such a popular reputation if this wasn't, a real thing. So please look at our website, rhfnow.org. Take a moment to see what we're doing. And if you're inspired, if you're a veteran in transition and you're inspired, I would suggest that you get involved with our nonprofit. And if you can't get involved with ours, find another nonprofit that interests you and staple yourself to that group and help power their mission. That's going to help you with your transition.
Darren Jeffrey, always a pleasure.
Oh, Sean, my friend, thank you.
This is America's Heroes Group. We'll be right back.